Hi everyone, and welcome back to Series 3. This is going to be one of our most inspiring series yet. I'm so excited to introduce a few people to you. And today we're going to start with Caroline Kelly from Retro Date. I think it's a beautiful place to start. She's somebody who's joined us on the Peninsula only in the last couple of years. Welcome, Caroline, to the podcast.
Thank you, Sam. What a delight to be here.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Now, you are, I always start the same question, which is how you began on the Peninsula. And so tell us a little bit about how you ended up on the beautiful Mornington Peninsula.
The beautiful Mornington Peninsula. A bit cold this morning,
yes,
but, still loving it. Well, in 2023 or 4, I really started thinking Melbourne is just a little bit unlivable for me. I was just 7 kilometres out of the city in a beautiful suburb, but I was thinking I can't even get in my car on a weekend. It's just so congested.
Yeah.
And I was really just dreaming of the sea, spent a lot of time at the beach when I was younger.
Yep.
And just dreaming of blue sky and freedom, really. But I just couldn't see my way to it or how I was going to get there at that point. But then something started taking me over at that point. I was in a job I really didn't enjoy at all. And then I don't know if you want to call it the universe. I'm not terribly oogle boogle about those sorts of things, but there was something propelling me. So it was obviously me just getting so fed up with my life at that point, and I started to just affect a complete change in my life. And that started with, I've always been a big early adopter of listening to podcasts.
Right.
And I heard an eccentric man in Scotland, and I used to live in Scotland, advertising his services as a kind of life coach, a kind of, a person that was helping people with public speaking. His name was Thor. It sounded weird and interesting. And I followed that line. I didn't know what I was doing, but something was taking me there. And he took me on as a client. He didn't take everyone on, but he said, if you make me laugh, I'll take you on. And we did nothing but laugh. And he said to me, all right, I'll take you. I just said to him, I feel like I want to be a podcaster. I used to work in film and TV. I started by working in theatre. I've, cast TV commercials. I've done all these sorts of things. I've ended up in education. It's not where I want to be. I'm a creative person, and a creative person always has to be doing something that they've thought of originally and going down that path. And I'm not doing that, and I'm incredibly frustrated. And I feel like I want to make podcasts. But at that point, I thought that I would just be a producer or maybe an executive producer. And he said, all right, so get me some guests. And that's where it all began.
That's where it all began.
Already.
No, that's brilliant, because you said before you were propelled down to the Peninsula. I think you were almost drawn. I think there's two ways of looking at it. You either think I'm coming, or the Peninsula is drawing you. And the Peninsula is such a special place in Victoria. There's no doubt. And I think it's becoming a little bit of a hub. I wouldn't just say for, the wellness industry, and then you've got the hospitality industry, but there's a creativeness to it as well. And there's a lot of beautiful creatives coming through. And it's part of the reason I wanted you to come on today, Caroline. So you had this interest in podcasts. You started with an amazing career. You did this with Thor. Was it Thor that started you in the podcasting space?
Well, yes, because I started producing for him from Melbourne, and then I moved down here.
Yes.
And that was a huge to do at the time. But anyway, I did it. And when he challenged me with getting some interesting guests for his podcast, one of them was a man that I had studied professional screenwriting with at RMIT, Graham Simsian, who went on to be wildly successful as a novelist. And he'd written a book with his wife, another incredible woman.
Then what was the name of the book?
The Glass
House.
Yes. A medical, like a fictional book, amazing book, actually. And they've done a series of them called the Menzies series now. And it's all about acute ill health, mental illness. And that's how that came about. He suggested, I might be a really good fit as a podcaster. I was really faking it till I made it at that point.
Sure.
They had someone else in mind to host it, but because I was producing it, I couldn't afford to put her on or pay her.
Right.
So I was propelled into the role of hosting.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And again, drawn into the space.
Into it, absolute happenstance. Yeah. Absolutely. Lord knows how that ever happened. And I was terrified, but I'm so glad it happened because I realised I really love this.
Yeah.
And I'd learned how to teach acting. I'd always been, I'm a singer. I'd been on stage before. I love all that sort of thing. And I really loved it. And I thought I never would have probably known how much I loved it unless I'd been propelled into it.
Yeah, right.
The yoke of necessity.
It's interesting.
Helped me there.
Yeah, so whether or not the universal space or energy propels us or draws us into where we're supposed to be, I think it's a really interesting space, podcasting, hence probably why we're here today.
Yes.
And I know that creativity, it sort of lights you on fire, they say, and it doesn't feel like a job, really.
It doesn't.
I love to tell people stories, obviously here at Founder Stories, that's what we do. But the reason we've got you on today, Caroline, and I'm excited to talk about is Retro Date, which is not only a podcast, but also events on the Mornington Peninsula.
Yes.
You're starting here.
Yes.
So you're back down to the Mornington Peninsula again.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the genesis of Retro Date.
Right. Well, I did 2 other podcasts. I talked about Talking the Glass House. I did that with co-host Professor Jayshree Kulkarni, an amazing woman, and I wanted to continue working with her. So I went on to do another series in the medical space, and that's called Menopause, the Future. And an incredible person to work with. I'm so grateful for that experience as well. And it was wildly successful, got a lot of corporate sponsorship.
There was quite a few episodes too, wasn't it? It went on for
13.
13, yeah.
2 series.
2 series.
And we did everything that we possibly wanted to cover or could cover, and just so happy with that. However, there was something I sort of wanted to leave that medical and psych space. It's not 100% who I am.
Yeah.
And that's why I moved away, thought about things. I think as a creative, we're always thinking, who am I?
Yeah.
What do I want to do? And I can tell that that's what you've done in this space, that you're a curious person, you're a warm person, you really want to get to the heart of what makes people tick. Yeah. I'm similar to you in that way. I think that's why we've gotten on so well. Yeah. So I can't wait to do that as well with this podcast. And what I went away to start looking into was doing a lot of research around the dating scene globally. Yeah. And I want to say straight up, online dating works for a lot of people, for sure. And you hear over and over again people saying, oh, I met the love of my life, so awesome, having the best time ever. Totally. So we'll park that to one side and take that as read, that it works. However, when I've done research, and from my own experience too, on and off online dating, it can be a really negative space. And I think more and more so as the algorithms really sort of have a negative effect on online dating. And of course, online dating apps don't want you necessarily to find your partner.
Because it takes you off the app.
Takes you off the app and they want you to spend the money. So I just was getting really alarmed at hearing and reading people in their 20s, all through all, Gen Z to millennials to Gen X, saying, particularly people in their 20s saying, I've given up on dating. It's over for me. And I'm thinking, this is really sad. Yeah. This is really sad.
All these beautiful people, and an algorithm is almost determining their love life. It doesn't make sense.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And them not understanding that there is another way to date out there that we understood as Gen Xers was so fun and so natural, and that is what is now known as dating in the wild, which is what another kind of tagline for this podcast. So that's why I thought I want to really lead some discussions around this, and not coming from a perspective of, so much better in my day, you've got no idea how to date, none of that.
Yes.
More about, is there something that we can preserve and conserve from yesteryear around eye contact, pheromones,
being in the same space.
Being in the same space, clocking someone that you like, not being so terrified. The guys that I hear saying, just too terrified to go up to a woman because we keep getting told that we're creeps. Now, that to me is a really sad state of affairs. We've got to do something about that.
Yeah.
That's gone too far. The pendulum has swung too far.
If
we're giving that message to guys.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done about that.
So Retro Date is a podcast, so it does require, there is a little bit of an online element to it.
Yes.
But the complementary element is there will be events to that as well.
Because if we're going to be giving the message of we need to be dating in the wild, I thought to myself, well, let's launch it and see how we go with actual in the wild events.
Yeah.
And make it fun, make it, a little bit of buy-in, and have it slightly structured, but not too structured, because I'm the kind of person, I don't know about you, I think you're a little bit more extroverted than me, but when I go to an event, I don't want to be, spotlight lit and, made to do things and what have you. But it's going to be at Terry's Karaoke.
Oh, yes, in Rye.
Yes, in Rye.
On the front road there. Yes.
Correct, which is an incredible venue. And, Daniel down there is so clever and has made such a smick, clean, fun, all ages, all fun, venue. And it's going to be everyone milling around, an old-fashioned name tag, a tagline under your name that says, I love anything by, and then a band.
Oh, wow.
So that, it could be Supertramp or, for younger generations, because I want all generations to come and everyone mingling. Because that's another thing I want to really delve into on the podcast, that intergenerational dating is huge at the moment.
Right.
And I want to work out why that is, like particularly the trend of younger guys dating older girls, older women, and why that is. So anyway, back to
it's so organic as well, because when you get people in the same space and you discuss sort of the elements or bring it to their attention to celebrate it, to enjoy it, but also, the algorithm isn't telling you what your category is. It's not telling you, oh, you'll be better off with this. I will decide that. Thank you very much.
Well, let's just have fun. Anyway.
And let's have some
fun. Just have fun.
Exactly.
So there'll be an MC there, my dear friend Wayne. So going right back to my beginnings. He's an MC, he's a celebrant, he's a theatre director, like he's amazing. And we'll have the opportunity for anyone who is extroverted. There'll be drinks flowing. They can have like a duet, a karaoke duet, and they can do things publicly if they want to and have some fun. If they don't want to, there are private karaoke rooms, and we'll have a couple of gorgeous little Gen Z hosts running around helping people get into groups to go into karaoke rooms and have like timed 15-minute moments where they can figure out a song together, not have to perform in front of anyone, just have some fun. It's just an ice-breaking sort of opportunity. But mainly it's just people milling around. There won't be the full kind of piano situation that happens at Terry's Karaoke, because that's not conducive
to conversation.
Chatting. Yeah, exactly.
So when is this? So this is a big event coming out. There's two things I want to ask you before we wrap up today.
Yeah.
And that is ultimately definitely around when does the podcast begin? And then also when is the date for this initial, I know there's going to be rolling events.
Yes.
And most likely through Terry's in Rye.
Yes.
But start us out. When is Retro Date coming online? When can people look out for Retro Date?
Okay. So the event is happening Thursday, September 10th.
September 10th. Fantastic.
So
making a note.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Eventbrite link will be live very soon.
Yep.
So please look out for Retro Date Podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
and follow our updates on there.
Best way to get your updates.
Best way to get the updates there.
But September 10.
Yes.
We'll also share that link as well.
Fantastic. And then the podcast is going to be happening to coincide with the swell of tourism and the vibe here on the peninsula, which is really where this place comes alive.
It certainly is.
So November.
Yep.
And it'll be going all across for 12 episodes across the summer period.
Where you'll be talking to people and sort of delving, as you said, into those mechanics, if you can call it that, or the chemistry behind being with people, seeing that retroactive or the retro space of how we used to date.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Retro Date the podcast. Well, that's absolutely fantastic. So that's what's next, really, isn't it, for Retro Date?
What's next.
You're launching the podcast. We're doing the event first at Terry's in Rye, and then we're launching online. So, and I'll absolutely be sharing your content as we go, Caroline.
Awesome, Sam.
It's been so great to have you on initially for our Series 3, our very first guest for Series 3. And I'm so delighted you've come along today, Caroline. We'll catch up again soon. And thank you so much for coming. I can't wait to having you back.
And maybe for this series. Yes. I'm loving the merch.
Thank you. I think everyone's loving the merch. But thank you very much for joining us, Caroline. And we'll be back soon with our second guest for Series 3 here at HQ.
Thanks, everyone.